it was the most money I've ever held in my hand. Like, I've never had a check that big, like, ever.
Hey everybody, Tristan Emond here, Mindful Living Realty in Rapid City, South Dakota. I got a chance to sell a home for a client early this year. Not for the normal reasons, but because they were going to sell everything out and move into a van. And I got a chance to talk with Vinny and Elise in their van. Check it out. Let's start with the story of how you got into van life. So I remember Vinny back in, like, it was like 2015, I believe. Your job was going pretty good. You were always out vacationing, and it seemed like you're like, okay, I need to grow up now and get myself a house. And I think you knew Elise at that time. Kind of go with me your thought forms at that point.
So I was traveling, took a couple cruises through the Caribbean. Really liked traveling a lot. Decided I should get a nice house. I was dating Elise at the time. So I looking for a bigger house. So I went for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, thinking this was gonna be our house. This was gonna be the one we were gonna build a family in, and have people over, entertain, stuff like that. And then we went to Hawaii a couple years ago, and we're like, man, we would really like to have a life full of vacation, a life that we don't need a vacation from. And so we got to brainstorming, and Elise kind of found this thing of van life, went on YouTube.
So I followed a few couples that were doing the van life already, and one of them was really big, and they had like millions of followers, and they were down in South America. And I'd been following them for a while and saw how they were like living in this van, and I kind of showed Vinny and been like, I don't know how they're affording to do this. And so we just kind of looked into it a little bit more and more, found more people that were doing it and how they budgeted everything, and then kind of decided that we could probably do that.
Yeah. So we got to talking, and we got engaged, and then it was like, do we do this van? Do we not? And then there was one night we had a conversation on how bad do you want to do this, and so she took a sticky note, I took a sticky note, and I was like, from scale of 1 to 10, how bad do you want a van life? 10 being like, let's do it right now. 1 being like, not at all. And I think I had an 8 and you had a 7.
Yeah.
And so then we started the process of buying the van, and then working on it. We got married in the process, so it took us a while, but then we decided we're just gonna sell everything, save up as much money as we can, and then take off at the end of 2020.
Well, that's really cool. I remember you coming to my office. You're like, hey, I wanna talk to you. So we got to my office. We sat on the couch, and you said, you know what? We're gonna sell everything and live in a van. And I went, well, I've seen people do that, but what? And you were just like, yep, we've got ourselves a van. We're gonna retrofit it, and then next thing you know, we're putting a home on the market. Go through about how that would be for you guys.
Through the process of the house, when we contacted Tristan and told him, hey, well, let's get this thing going. We wanted to move really fast, but the housing market at the time was really hot, so we knew once it got on the market, it'd probably sell quick. So I contacted Tristan, and we got to talking, and he's like, all right, let's make it happen. And then he came over to the house, he took a look, and he's like, how soon do you want this on the market? I was like, tomorrow. So we just wanted to make things happen. So went through the process, we got it sold. We went with an aggressive price, and we got what we wanted, which was really awesome. Then after it went under contract, it was like, it kind of got real, like, okay, we're about to get rid of this house. So then we kept trying to downsize. We kept getting rid of stuff, selling things. They had some stipulations we wanted in the contract, and we got all those taken care of. And then cleaning out the house, it was slowly getting more and more real that, we're about to live in a van. And it's like, okay. Then we moved everything out, and turns out we had way more stuff than we thought. We ended up filling her parents' basement full of stuff, and we're still going through it to this day. But we're slowly getting rid of stuff. But now it's like, okay, so we're living in a van. It's pretty cool. We've been in a van for a little over 2 weeks now, and so far it's been going great. But it's very less stressful. I don't have to worry about mowing the grass or fixing stuff around the house. It takes like 5 minutes to clean this whole van.
Oh, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Like doing the dishes takes like 2 minutes.
Yeah, and it's super simple, so it's just a simpler way of life.
Close in the house, papers are signed, you go to the title company, you pick up the check, the last check for the place that you were in forever, or the past few years, the place that you got married in. And at that moment, what did you think? What did you feel? Did you have a huge celebration? Was it like, holy crap? What was your emotion at the time when you grabbed that check?
when we went to pick up the check, we walked in, the check wasn't even ready. The lady was walking down the aisle or the hallway, and she's like, "You're Vince Herman?" I was like, "Yes, sir," or "Yes, ma'am." And she's like, "Here's your check." I was like, "Yeah." So I got it and I looked. It was the most money I've ever held in my hand. Like, I've never had a check that big, like, ever. So I looked at it, showed Elise, and she's like, I was like, "We're going to the bank right now. Taking it to the bank." So we hopped in the truck, drove to the bank, cashed the check, and then we looked at it, and I was like, instantly, we just paid off the van. So we have no debt whatsoever. We just paid everything off, and then living these next few months, you know, still working full time, is just saving up more to travel longer.
At least I know that you spent a lot of time with the upgrades, with the fixing, with the painting, all these other things. Tell me more about how you went through that process and what you were doing in the interim, taking it from basically a panel van to creating your home.
COVID actually sped up that process quite a bit. So I was serving tables prior to COVID, and so March kind of hit and we went into kind of a shutdown. So Vinny was still working full time, so I ended up just taking all of my extra time and throwing it into the van. So we insulated the whole thing, we built everything from the ground up. Everything's made of like plywood, like 1/2-inch birch plywood, and so we bought none of it already manufactured. So it took a lot more time than I think we anticipated. And we have no carpentry experience whatsoever prior to this.
Or electrical or plumbing.
Oh yeah, or electrical or plumbing. So we just kind of taught ourselves as we went and kind of bought things as the money became available. And so we spent so much time just even like trying to figure out where we were going to put stuff, much less building it, getting the electrical figured out, teaching ourselves how to do all of that. So it was challenging, but it was fun.
Everything's done. You got things paid off. Where's your first trip? What's your first plan?
So our first stop is actually Bismarck, North Dakota. Watch out. The reason we had to go to Bismarck is most of my family lives up there, and before we take off on this long journey, we want to say goodbye to all of our family and tell them we won't be around for a while. But after that, we're going to head west, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to head over into, our goal is to do every national park in every state. So we'll go through Montana and over into Oregon, California, down, and then...
And if we get lost in like a ski resort, so be it.
Yeah.
Well, guys, that sounds incredible. So if I wanted to follow you, if I wanted to check up on your adventures, are you planning on documenting that like a lot of other people are?
So if you wanted to find us, we're going to be documenting our trip. Our Instagram is Freedom Off the Grid, all one word. Our Facebook is Freedom Off the Grid. And then our YouTube channel, that we're going to start here eventually, is also going to be Freedom Off the Grid. And we're going to document all of our travels, be vlogging. Elise is going to do some pictures along the way.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you guys want to follow us, we'd more than appreciate that.
Yes.
There we have everybody. Vinny and Elise going from 3-bedroom, 2-bath to van life. Gonna check out all the national parks in the nation. Sounds like a lot of fun to me. Not sure I could do it though. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. And remember, about where you live.